My name is Alistair Redfern. I'm the Bishop of Derby. I'd like to invite us to think about three words that we'll be using a lot in the diocese in the next year: common, fund and generosity. Common gives us the idea of being together. Fund we often associate with money. It's actually more than money. And generosity is something about the grace and love of God we see in Jesus Christ, which gives us life and helps us have life with others. And if we think about commonness, life evolves by making connections. We need to make connections with our inner selves, with our friends and family and neighbours, with our nation, with our world, with our God. We're always seeking connection, and that togetherness creates something that's common.
Elsewhere in the diocese, we're also working in rural locations. Again, often some of the congregations are small and elderly, but no less have vision. And it's really exciting that one of the churches in Grindleford has enabled the community to regain a place to operate their community shop from. A couple of years prior to this, they lost their community shop and post office. And they approached the church, and with some really creative use of the building space, they've refitted the vestry that wasn't being used really for anything but storing stuff. And that's been really exciting because also during the good weather, it's in an area where they get lots of throughput of walkers and cyclists and other tourists in the peak area there. And so they have managed to increase the footfall enormously right to the doors of the church, which is clearly a great missional opportunity for them. And ever since they're moving to their third year now with the shop, and we'll be taking out a further lease of 5 years, hopefully soon with the diocese, and setting up a more permanent faculty arrangement to enable that. So again, being able to support that long term has been really good, because often people will get into a long project and then struggle resources wise. So we're able to support the various stages, work with the congregation on maximising the opportunities that the community shop's presence brings to them.
Common funds is going to be crucial in terms of allowing us to spread the ministry of the diocese. If you think of the church schools alone, we have about 15,000 pupils who attend them. We have about 8,000 staff that work in those schools, and of course you've got all the pupils' families, so you're multiplying the numbers hugely, and these are people who will have perhaps no other contact with the church in any form, but through their local church school they have day-to-day contact with a community that is founded on a Christian foundation. And at the heart of that, each individual school community is a daily act of worship that they have to do by law. So the Christian story and the narrative and the equipping of people to live out lives well is focused on those schools that perhaps is sometimes missed by not being interacting with their churches.
I think through my work, people who have experienced debt or domestic abuse or are victims of human trafficking are not the kind of people the average person in a parish is going to meet, but they've all had experiences of being exploited in some way, and I think most Christian people would consider that something that they didn't deserve. Even people with debt, some of them have been treated in a way that's criminal, and although giving a small amount on a weekly or monthly basis might seem a very insignificant thing, for those people it's really significant, and I can't show you pictures of those people and I can't introduce you to them all, but I think the fact that we are showing solidarity with them and showing a community that's interested in them in a way that's constructive and positive as opposed to a way that's exploitative is a really important part of our Christian message.
Hi, my name is David Meredith and I'm the Director of Finance in the Diocese of Derby. The new Common Fund formula will be introduced in 2017. This replaces an old formula which is about 20 years old. We held a period of consultation last year in 2015 to discern a new way forward, and what we have now is a more simpler, we believe fairer system requesting common fund from parishes. Let's talk about how the common fund is calculated. 255 parishes, 330 churches and 110 church schools, stipendiary clergy, readers and numerous community projects. Each year the Diocese of Derby needs around £9 million. Let's break this down and see where this money comes from. For every pound of income, around 7 pence comes from fees and donations, 17 pence direct from the National Church, and 21 pence from rents and investment income. This leaves 55 pence in every pound, over 50% of our income from our common fund. This makes the common fund the single most important part of our funding. Individuals give to their parishes by weekly envelope or through their bank. If you are a taxpayer, you can increase your giving with gift aid. So how do we calculate a fair share of the common fund for each parish in the diocese? With the new common fund formula, we start with the average adult church attendance. Each church also has its own parish deprivation score, which is relative to indices of multiple deprivation. Let's take an example of 47 adult church attendees. And let's say that this parish has a parish deprivation score of 10. These are the parish's common fund variables, and we combine them by multiplying them together. This gives us a parish common fund factor. Next, we simply plug this factor into the new common fund formula. Let's work through the maths to work out the individual share of each member of our example church. We take our parish common fund factor and divide this by the total of all parish common fund factors for the diocese, and then multiply this by the total common fund required. This gives us a total common fund for our parish of £21,364. Divide this by 52 weeks in the year, and then by the 47 adult church attendees. This shows you the amount of common fund per person per week. For more information on how the new common fund formula works, and to learn more about what the common fund achieves, search for common fund on the diocesan website.
This is an appeal for us all to live generously and to give generously. In the second letter to the Corinthians, Paul uses the word charis. It means not just generous as we translate it, but grace, filled with God's grace. Let us be thankful for the grace of God that fills us and ensure that we give generously to make that grace available to others. So please support our campaign to live generously, to give generously, to be people of grace.